There's space for the there's space for the everywhere you get them.
Okay.
Where's the SLC president? Where's the other two? I'm here so how? I'm here. Odo to be FTC. That's right.
Then go fast.
Because someone is giving ladies the phone. And now this is from the LSRC. Come on. This is from the LSRC. Welcome you to Central University for their LSRC week.
Only 12.
The numbers. Mumbia, man.
Speaker, in the person of Honorable Kennedy Agyapong, Central University. Special program, YOUTHQUAKE Conference. Ladies and gentlemen, considering the economic environment, what I can tell you is depends on your
you decided to do. But to start a business, like I said, you need savings. You need to save to raise capital. And when you have enough capital for a particular business, you do the analysis and see that where I'm going to establish this business, we call something economics, a comparative and competitive advantage. And let me give you one example when it comes to comparative advantage. In this country, we have about 6 regions that are calling for large-scale agriculture and industries. But to site your company or your factory, you first look at the locations. So this is when you have the capital. I hope you are listening. When you have the capital, the location is also very, very important. So it's location, location, location. Today, if I have to invest in large-scale farming and agro-processes, I will be brutally frank. I will invest in the border region before the north. As a businessman, because of proximity to market, because of proximity to the port, if I have my finished product from, say, YOUTHQUAKE, it will take me about an hour to get to the port, 1 hour, 20 minutes to get to the market. But in the north, it will take me about 21 hours or 2 days to get the stuff or my finished product to the market. The cost of transportation alone will eat into your profit. So when we have capital and we are starting your business, you should consider location. It's very, very important. You just don't go, even if you're going to rent a shop, look at where the traffic is heading. If you want to go into raw materials, look at areas where they are building new homes. These are how you take the decision, the strategy to start the business. You just don't go into business because Agyapong did this and he succeeded, and therefore you are also going to go into it. No, you don't know what goes into a particular business. So you have to do a good research and not just enter into any business. When you do a good research for a product, then you can say that this is where I'm going to site it, this is the product I'm going to manufacture. So all these things is a whole topic that we can take a whole day to discuss. Nepotism. Nepotism, favoritism is what is killing this country. No doubt about it. You know, recently in the news, you hear Agrada and Sammy Gyamfi. You know, even when the president, I'll fire Sammy Gyamfi right away, not even a second. Because the evidence is clear. I don't need to go and do any investigation. To serve as a deterrent. Young men and women complete their university education, they did their national services. And even national service, you have to pay to get a good company to work. If you don't know a politician, you cannot even do your national service. All these things are impeding progress. And because of that, because of nepotism, we always employ square pegs in a round hole. So it's a canker that we need to solve or resolve. So I'm glad you brought it up. And you also question about business and politics. It is not very easy. In business, I would have gone far than where I If there's change of government, they attack your business, the new government attacks your business. Even your own government, a friends might look at your face and they don't like it and try to kill your business. But if you're a politician and you are not a businessman, it's different. You don't feel the pain. But if you're a businessman and you are still doing politics, it is not very easy. So, to balance it, all you need to do to enable you to balance it is honesty. Don't compromise on your integrity. If you compromise on your integrity and do any fishy deals, any change of government, they will come after you and collapse your business. So if you want to do business and at the same time go into politics, you should know what is ahead of you. It's a high stake that you're going to take. Interest rates. First, to reduce interest rate, in this country, I have to tell you, I am not scared. I will tell you the truth because I'm a businessman. You don't need the government competing with entrepreneurs or businessmen in terms of borrowing. The government is borrowing from the banks, and private sector is also borrowing from the banks. It makes it very difficult for the private sector to get a lower rate. 2, Bank of Ghana sets a prime rate at say 22%. Where on earth do you set a prime rate at 22% and expect the bank with all the risk also to give to customers at 25? So right from day one, the Bank of Ghana regulation is nothing to write home about, and therefore we have to do something about it. Again, production. When we create businesses, the government will get taxes from workers, the businesses, they pay their annual taxes and everything, the corporate taxes. When the government has enough money, it will bring the rates down because they will not be competing with private sector for loans to do other projects. So creating more employment and flooding the market with goods and services will also bring interest rates down. Today we are talking about dollar. I hear in the news all over. The economists will tell you if they are fair and they are not playing politics with it. It is not a magic from NDC government, it's not a magic from NDP government that is bringing the dollar down. It is Trump and his policies towards the rest of the world's economy that people are not demanding dollars as expected. So their dollars are sitting there. Now they are competing with China. So whatever they are saying, if Trump and the world come together again, you will see that our country did not put or implement any policies that will bring the dollar down. So whatever you are seeing here is temporal. I am telling you, it's temporal. It is not any economic gurus in this country that is causing the city to appreciate and the dollar to depreciate. It is the world market that they are not demanding the dollars as much as they used to. That is why there's no competition. And supply of dollar is exceeding the demand. As simple as that. These are basic economics principles. So we have to be careful with what we are saying about interest rate and all those things. It's not magic. It is the world economy that is falling apart, and the demand for the dollar has gone down. Somebody asked about punctuality. Punctuality, I talk about time, because if you become disciplined with your time, it affects everything that you do, even the decisions that you take. So if they ask you to come at 7, somebody will tell you, I leave at Okaishi, and I'm working at, I have a company called Platinum, do the plastics. I always take buses to Kaleshi, Ashama, Tema Central to pick the workers. With all this, some come and they are late. Because coming to join the bus is not waiting for one person. So when you are late, it leaves you, and they come back giving excuses that I need vaccination. When you were looking for job, did you tell your boss that you need vaccination and therefore you be coming to work very late? If you have told your boss that you be coming to work very late, would he have employed you? So that is no excuse. You knew you were staying at Kaneshi and coming to work at free zones. So if you start work at 5, you have to wake up at 3 to get there. No excuse. But you know, if you wake up at 4, you cannot use 1 hour to get to free zone. So punctuality is very, very important, and it helps in our daily activities. It increases production, and delays will also reduce production. So punctuality, punctuality, punctuality. That's the only way we can grow the economy. Industrialization, if I talk about entrepreneurship, what do you mean by industrialization? The businesses that we are creating. Somebody mentioned I have a steel plant worth 100 million. In fact, I don't know how he got it, but 3 days ago, the Indians came and they assessed the factory and they said it's $100 million. And I need $35 million working capital. Now, do you call Agyapong an industrialist? Or what? So, it's the entrepreneurs who create the industries. So if we are talking about entrepreneurs, they are the same people. When we say industry, we have small scale ones and large scale ones. So at any level, those going into production, they are also part of the industrialization process. So entrepreneurs are leaders of the industries, and therefore, don't get it wrong. They are the same. Language. Very interesting point. See, if we're able to use our own language, in Ghana here, they always say, oh, if you can't speak good English, it means you are not intelligent. That is what we call in Latin fallacy of argumentum ad hominem. Okay? Because I have about 27 Indians at site now. You know, I have always had the impression that India is an English-speaking country, and therefore they all speak English. It's not true. I took them to Noble restaurant one day, having lunch with the workers, the Indians. And all of them here are engineers. But they can't speak English. Only few. They use their language. And they are fixing all these machines. Those of us going to Agrada pass by the factory for you to see. So, I would have been one of the brilliant students if I had used my own language. I was born at the Asylum. I'm from Papa. You know, will call me, and the young ones from Radio 2, Morning Star Association, they all tell me about the teacher, the master was, yes, the gentleman back there, and they'll tell him, Kwame Agyapong, a new block for Cheme. You know, we struggle to use the white man's language. So I think it's a very interesting point that you raised, and we need to discuss further. Maybe we've gone too far, so many years, but it's still worth trying. In our own language, you see many people coming out with flying colors. Real estate and stock exchange. My lady from Nigeria, this side of the world, there are two types of real estate. I have failed in real estate. Why? Because I build or buy and rent. I have so many houses empty, apartments, encampments here and there, they are all empty. Those who benefit from real estate are the builders, those who build and sell. And you see, like that is not a lucrative business. I'll give you one example. The new factory that I bought, that employs 350 people, I did not pay more than $4 million for that factory. And it's employing 350 people. I have a house in Cantonment, but the land alone, I paid $2.2 million. So completion, what would be your estimation? So instead of going into real estate, preferably, you go into manufacturing. Because what I'm earning from the $4 million company, in the next 2 years, I'll get my money back. Whereas the properties that I have are sitting there idle, empty. Nobody is buying them. You see so many apartment buildings going for sale, for sale. They are there for sale. These are the contractors who have decided to go into real estate. It's not a bad idea. The mere fact that you're giving it a thought shows that you want to be an entrepreneur. So I will encourage you, but be careful which area you enter into. It's very, very important. But I'm not, honestly speaking, I'm not fascinated with it. I'll give you one. I don't have to tell you, but I don't want you to make mistakes. So I'll share my personal experience with you again. I put 3 million aside. 1 million at the bank for my new house. 1 million to complete my new coastal. And 1 million to do the earthwork, the civil work at the steel plant. Would you believe that the $1 million I put in my house is finished? And when you go there, it's uncompleted. The $1 million I put in the coastal, when you go there and see the level, something that is going to bring me money. When we see what $1 million has done with the new coastal, $31,000, you have no idea. $1 million is a steel plant. When you go there and you see the earthworks that they've done, and meanwhile, the house, $1 million, it's like you have a seed that you drop in the water in there. It goes just like that. So you have to be careful with real estate. That is all I can tell you. It's good. It means you want to be self-independent. You want to do your business, it's good. But you have to be careful. I'm not saying I'm writing it off completely, no. But try other manufacturing areas and you see what will happen. stock exchange, with what I'm doing with industries, I call it lazy approach. You know, one of my daughters worked at the Google, started buying stocks. One day, said, Daddy, let me show you. I made $432,000. No, she's just about 24. I think this February she was 26. $432,000. Just about 2 months ago, the 432, because of the volatility of the stock exchange, the money dropped to about 200,000. But if you put it in a business where you have time to manage it yourself, you will see the outcome. They are in America and they don't know this kind of manufacturing and how they are going into it, and therefore going into stocks. Let's go back. I call it easy approach. Because you can spend about $300,000 and have this water manufacturing company. And in the next 1 year, you get your $300,000 back. So stock exchange and real estate. If you are into business, this side of the world, you see that stock exchange and real estate, they don't bring money. I didn't take that example again. Donald Trump, when we were in America with Trump families and all those, then you have MC families, all those. Now the tech guys are taking over. The tech guys, technology guys, they're taking over. So you should watch the trend, how it's going before you invest. Priorities. I mean, when we talk about priorities, you should set goals for yourself. And the goals that you set, some are more important than the others. So you have to start. Another example, I'm a pragmatic guy, and therefore I always want to give practical examples from my own experience. I stole idea from Honorable Speaker. A friend of mine was going to buy a car at $250,000. And Honorable Speaker came to me with equipment that he has imported to build his water bottle company at $250,000. Whose priority is right? Because when you buy a car at $250,000, you take it out of the showroom to your house, the value depreciates right there. Because you drove the car from the showroom to your house, depreciation sets in. Whereas when you set up the factory, appreciation, it appreciates in value. So every individual should set his priorities straight. Some of them are just lavish. Some of them, when you invest in, it assures your future. So priority in every decision making, you have to prioritize the most important point first, the most important project first, before you go to others. Then the last one, we talk about savings. You need to save. No matter how small your money is, if you want to raise capital, and you have a vision, you have a dream to be yourself one day, you have to save your money, no matter how small it is. But one day, you accumulate enough capital to invest. So do not think that you have a dream, a good proposal, and you are going to bank for a loan. You are going to work for the bank for the rest of your life.
The need for my to go because of the need for
is here today to reduce your mind about these things. Is here to tell you that you can do it. He is here to tell you that if today I am born vegan, if today I have a Mercedes, if I have a gun, then you can do it. That is why today we are brought together to encourage us, to let us know what the trick is. School is good, knowledge is good. Common sense is very, very important. So today, our Papa, the man of the moment, very difficult to get this one on your platform. My heart says, for the sake of Central University,